Good morning, YouTube. Another day in the shop, another day of auctions. Hopefully we can get some cars.
So are you recording all of the nefarious activities?
If you're new to the channel, my name is Dan and we are at my dealership, NG Supercars. And today we're gonna bring you along for yet another day in the life of owning a small, used supercar dealership. And well, it's auction day. Wednesdays are the good day for auctions for supercars. There's two of the big ones. Well, they're both on Manheim, but two of the big auctions within Manheim. If you didn't know, Manheim is a wholesale system for dealers, so you have to be a dealer in order to get access to it. We don't have a ton of luck with them, honestly, but we still, every once in a while, can find a gem. It's like a diamond in the rough. But the vast majority of the time, we actually don't buy anything, or there's nothing of interest. So there was a few cars that I looked at last night that I think maybe we might want. We also have to do a bunch of other stuff today. So we have this blue F430, which is sold, and the customer is coming to get it tomorrow. So we want to drive it one last time, make sure everything's sorted, because last thing we want is him to get the car and have something break. It's one of our least favorite things on earth. It just, I hate that so much. It's the worst. We're also gonna give it a bath. This 360 right here was a conversion client. So we finished the conversion. We've already test driven it a couple times, but we want to get at least 3 or 4 heat cycles on these cars before you get them back when you have a conversion, because the cables can stretch as it gets hot and cold and hot and cold and so on. So we're going to drive this 1 or 2 more times, and then we're going to also give this car a bath because he's going to be coming to get it, I think, next week. And we're getting a car in on trade for this 430. So we got to wait to see what it is until we get it. So that'll be tomorrow. It'll probably be in a video out, I don't know, a few days from now. Update on the 430 Scuderia. So this is my rebuilt title 430 Scuderia that was wrecked. It's actually in phenomenal condition, just a touch over 10,000 miles. And here's the funny thing about selling cars. I've had a bunch of people interested. I've had 4 people or 5 people test drive it. I can't even remember now. So here's the funny thing about test drives. We have a policy that normally you can't test drive a car without a deposit. And a lot of people get all butthurt about that, and they're like, oh, deposit, blah, blah, blah. And here's the reason why. Because the number of times that people come and test drive a car without a deposit and then buy the car so far has been 0. So pretty much everyone coming to test drive a car who doesn't put down a deposit is just out for a joyride. And that's why we don't like it, okay? It's a waste of everyone's time. It's a waste of our time. Yay, you got a free joyride in a Ferrari. But we don't like that. So it's a risk for us because we don't know you. We don't know your driving style. We don't know if you're gonna drive it hard, drive it soft. What if you wreck it? What if something stupid happens? What if a deer runs out in front of you? That has happened to me. Those sorts of things. So then we got some situation now where you're paying for repairs on a very expensive car and we know it's not gonna go well. So that's why we don't like doing test drives. So furthermore, our insurance is very, very, very expensive. As you can imagine, insuring all these cars costs a ton of money. And in fact, our insurance has to not only insure these cars, they have to insure the fact that we allow test drives on these cars. And they have all sorts of rules, like one of Josh or I has to be present. So we've had lots of interest, but no one real serious, no serious offers. There was one serious offer and then the guy backed out. Correction. I've had 3 or 4 serious offers, and then they all backed out for various reasons, whether it was they couldn't get financing or whatever. But I have 2 people, of course, nothing. 2 people both wanted to put a deposit on the car today. This has happened to us before, where we had 2 people trying to buy the car on the same day. So it's a drag race. Honestly, I don't care which person comes through. One of them is going to come through, and the other person is going to be pissed. So it's a drag race to get a deposit in. We'll see if that happens. I'll keep you updated throughout the day. I'm gonna ping both people and let them know, hey, give me the deposit and it's yours. All right, so what else is going on? Well, some of you may remember we actually have a Porsche. Yeah, we bought this a couple months ago. And if you remember, it was wrapped, and when we pulled off the wrap, the paint was destroyed. Do not buy wrapped cars, because this is what you could have waiting for you. Well, it just came back from our paint guy. By the way, this is the same paint guy who's offered to fix the scud. Look at this quality of work. I mean, absolutely remarkable. It looks amazing. It needs to, we need to wash it, and it's a little bit dirty, and there's fingerprints on it and stuff. But remember, he basically had to paint all the front clip, the door. Remember that there was paint all missing in this door? Look at that. And black is tough because, black shows everything. So, wow. really, really good job. Super, super pleased with this. Johnny, you crushed it. Thank you so much. So if you wanted to buy the Scud and have Johnny fix it, we could have him do that. But, well, if I get a deposit today, well, then your time's run out. Oh, and a quick story. I drove in the GT40 today, and by the way, highlighted my day, driving it in, driving it home. Absolutely love it. So I'm driving to work, and we're going along, and there's a Tesla Cybertruck. And you know how the electric vehicle people, they always want to drag race everything. It's like, it's the one trick pony, and that's the one trick that those electric cars can do is drag race. I mean, the Cybertruck is not exactly going to win on a road course. Anyway, so Cybertruck homie is all like, oh, here's a sports car, whatever. I'm going to kick his ass in a drag race. So we're rolling pretty fast. I mean, we're at highway speeds already. And I'm just passing him casually. I didn't think he was going to go for it. And all of a sudden I see him launch. So I'm like, oh, okay. And I didn't even downshift. So I'm in fourth gear and I stomp it. And I immediately catch him and just start walking away from him. And he's still on it hard. Like, I just crushed it. Absolutely crushed it in this thing. Because here's the thing. This car probably is not that great from like 0 to 60. That's not where this car shines. This car shines from like 40 to 140, okay? That's where it really takes over and just skies. I mean, it's amazing. I let off, I'm gonna say probably around 130, 140 miles an hour. Actually, correction, I shifted into fifth just to let him know I had another gear when he was way in my rearview mirror. I just want to let him know, like, not only did you get walked, but I still had a lot more left in it. So that made me very happy to know that this thing can absolutely stomp a Cybertruck. Now I have no idea what version of Cybertruck it was. Maybe it's not the whatever super duper version. Doing a, let's just call it a 70 to 130 roll race against this car, you better be bringing a lot. That was kind of fun. Made my day. I had a smile the rest of the way to work. Anyway, auctions are starting, so let's get set up, see if we can buy anything today. I'm not crossing my fingers. I'm not going to say, chances are very slim that we'll actually get something. So, all right, got my cars queued up. There's only like 2 or 3 of interest. We were watching a G-Wagon, went over wholesale price, didn't make sense. There is a Ferrari 458 of interest. So here's the weird thing. It's being sold as is, and it's TRA, basically. It's somehow. And they don't really tell you how. So it's a huge gamble, and on the description of it, they're claiming it's like a 5.0 out of 5, which is bullshit. It's not. Nothing's ever a 5, especially it's got like 20-something thousand miles. Anyway, so we're like analyzing what is wrong with this car. Why is it going through the BS auction, bottom of the barrel auction that only has crap? And then we saw it. And by the way, there's a picture of it with a tow hook on the front. So it got towed in. So see. There it is with the tow hook. Yeah, right there. So this thing's been towed in. It's obviously not driving under its own power. We're looking around trying to figure out what's going on. And then, so we see this picture. It says something about like electrical system failure, which that could be something as simple as a battery or something. But then you see this picture right there. The transmission light is on. Which, if the trans light is on a 458, it's most likely the speed sensor died on the transmission, and that transmission needs to come out and be rebuilt, and you're talking $7,000 to $10,000. So we're gonna bid on it. We're gonna see what it goes for. If we can get it cheap enough, factoring in, we're gonna just like worst case scenario. Let's say we gotta spend 30 grand on the car, so we need it $30,000 less than what we'd normally buy at wholesale. So it's got to be pretty dirt cheap. Which means it's some dumbass is gonna pay way too much for it. So we probably won't get it, but we're gonna try. That's the most interesting car of the day. A beat up 458. Yay! There'd be some cool content. And this is a pretty, well, not super common, but it is a reasonably common problem. So it does happen. Anyway, we'll see what happens. These big ass lifted trucks, I do not understand it. They go for so much money. Doesn't make any sense to me. I'm just waiting for another auction and wow, this thing's horrible. It's at like $72,000. Wholesale value of it is only $69,000, so it's going more than what the wholesale is on it. Trucks in Texas, man. I don't get it. That car needs to go get an inspection, then we need to give it a bath. Well, struck out in the auction again.
No, we have a
Oh wait, well,
we have a car on call.
we have a car on call. It means, so it basically means it didn't meet the reserve. If we get it, you're gonna laugh. We'll see. It's a very cheap car. Actually, Josh sold this car. This Tesla just sold, so that was a win. So the blue car is getting picked up tomorrow. So we're gonna have the new car that we've been hinting at for a while. That'll be here tomorrow. So I'm gonna go drive this 360. It needs to get some miles on it again before the guy comes and picks it up. I think next week, right? We need to drive the Scud a little bit because I want to get the monitors to reset on it after changing stuff and pulled the battery. So that thing's all set. So we're gonna actually grab lunch. Rare moment, we're actually gonna have lunch. Holy crap.